Welcome back. I'm joined by retired Lieutenant Colonel David Redman as we wrap up our discussion on the underfunding of our Canadian Defence Forces and how that's impacting us, not just nationally, but also globally. Thank you again, David, for joining. We went through one of the first points of why the purpose of why we do what we do. Why does our defense, why is it so important? What is their job? What are the other four elements?
Okay, in the paper, I break them out in detail, but what we need to understand is, first of all, once you've defined the purpose, then you have to immediately invest in combat capable personnel. And you have to train those personnel continuously. People don't seem to understand that a soldier just doesn't magically happen, a
Hmm.
sailor or an airman or woman. They take years of training. And so to get down your basic individual skills, your collective skills, your battalion skills, your brigade and larger element skills, to be able to understand how to get all three services to integrate and act together, to make a sergeant, to train a sergeant in the Army takes a decade, 10 years. We're throwing them out the door like it's not important. So combat capable personnel with only one statement: to fight. The second step, once you have defined your purpose and you have people, you then need to equip them. And I mean everything from ships, aircraft, and tanks, but all the lesser things that they rely on every day, their personal protective equipment, their rifles, their ammunition, all of the pieces that go with those weapon systems. Then we need to build, for our fourth element, a combat supply system that is robust, that can perform in times and places of danger, and that is guaranteeing the sustainability of all that equipment through a maintenance system as well as a constant replenishment system. And then finally, we need to have in place a recruitment system that brings in both new people, new equipments as they emerge, and it has the ability to make sure we keep up to date on everything that we have with a surge capability, so that if we suddenly are in a conflict, the existing forces can be rapidly expanded and grow to meet whatever the current threat is. Without those five elements, in an integrated fashion, you might as well give up on having a Canadian Armed Forces. And so that's why I challenge the government to do all five of that. And the way I built it into my paper, the only way we can achieve this in a timely enough fashion to meet the current threats is to do it with a 6-month time frame to establish a task force and get its terms of reference completely put in place, and then a 3-year building period to rebuild back out our Canadian Armed Forces based on purpose, combat capable personnel, combat capable equipment, a replenishment and supply system, and then a surge capacity with recruitment and training that builds all through to make us capable in the future and
Well,
sustain it with projected and clear funding for all four subsequent elements.
Well, is the government actually listening? Well, are they going to listen and read your paper, David? I ask because it seems when we talk about recruitment, for example, I know young persons who said we're not interested in joining. We would have been, but it seems like they're more interested in social programs or DEI initiatives and this wokeism. That we don't want to go near the armed forces anymore. I mean, it's kind of sad. Are you hearing this as well?
Absolutely correct. I hear constantly from friends and colleagues and from the currently serving members. I see them leaving in droves because they joined to be capable to defend Canada. And when things like DEI are put in place, that has nothing to do with combat capability. Combat capability means promotions and employment are based on merit. And so what we're seeing is an intentional, in my opinion, destruction of all of the elements of our national security and our Department of National Defense, our Canadian Armed Forces, by this current government. So, no, I don't believe this government can or even has any concept or idea of how to rebuild the armed forces of Canada. We have to wait till we get a government that takes national security seriously.
Okay, and that could be very soon, given what's going on federally with uh, the liberal leadership, and we could very well have a change of government. It could be as early as this spring. Who knows? We'll have to see. Thank you again, retired Lieutenant Colonel David Redman, for your time. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you very much for having me.